Tonight, not out of the woods yet.
Without water in the community, that's another risk to their health that we have to worry about.
A clear picture of the challenges facing a northern community comes into focus even as power comes back online. Also tonight, an icy brush with death.
Quite dangerous situation and put their life in peril in order to rescue this gentleman.
A daring rescue on a Manitoba river after a snowmobiler drives into open water. Plus, after you. What comes next for a system that lets pedestrians get a head start crossing the street after a successful pilot project?
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Taylor Brock. Marilee is away. Thousands of Pimicikamak Cree Nation members rang in the new year in the cold. This after a power line snapped and plunged the remote First Nation into darkness on Sunday evening. Manitoba Hydro has now fully restored power, but leaders say they're not out of the woods yet. CTV's Joseph Bernacki joins us now live. Joseph, you spoke with Chief and Council today. Give us a picture of what's happening there right now.
Taylor, I spoke with Chief David Monius this afternoon, and it's been a frantic scramble trying to keep everyone warm and safe during the holiday season. Monius says more than 2,000 people were evacuated to Winnipeg. Some of those people just got to the city in the early hours of Friday morning. Electricity may be back on, but there are new challenges assessing damage to infrastructure and fixing floods from frozen pipes. Pimicikamak Cree Nation Chief David Monius says this is not how his community planned on welcoming the new year. Thousands of people are out of their homes in Winnipeg hotels, and others stayed behind. They experienced severe temperatures and watched how the cold wreaked havoc on their homes.
The sad reality is that the protection we had for leakage from the pipes and all the faucets, all the damage from the cold is actually it's starting to show itself now in the community.
Manitoba Hydro says power is now fully restored early Friday afternoon after going down Sunday evening. Monius says not everyone will be able to return home as 1,300 homes in the community are assessed for damages. He points to images and video coming in from members showing water leaks and floods. He's calling on the federal government to help with the limited number of services available to restore the pipes.
We have 8 plumbers that are doing everything they can. So we're asking for engineers, we're asking for plumbers, additional people to come in and assess, until we know the full extent of the damage that's done to our community. You're guessing, right?
In a statement Thursday to CTV News, a spokesperson from the federal government said officials and non-governmental and Indigenous organizations on the ground are working together to support the community and respond to emerging needs. Shirley Robinson said it's been a frantic time trying to help evacuees here in Winnipeg. She says it's uncertain when people from the First Nation will be able to go back.
We're going to keep people here as much as possible at this moment in time because right now we are in a crisis related to health and hazard safety.
Manitoba Hydro says it took a team of more than 20 employees to fix the downline and restore power to the community. A spokesperson from the Crown Corporation said a small number of staff will continue to monitor the Cross Lake situation as it returns to a normal operation.
So, Joseph, did leadership from Pimicikamak Cree Nation have any other advice for families that may be impacted?
Taylor, Chief Monius is encouraging residents to check in on each other at this time to make sure they are okay. The community is accepting food donations from across the province. People are stepping up to help. In fact, Chief Monius says service people from Saskatoon are already coming to fix water leaks. He says it'll take some time before the nation will be back to normal.
Thanks, Joseph. Lac du Bonny's fire department brought in the new year by responding to a daring life or death situation. The fire chief says a snowmobile driver fell into open water on the icy Winnipeg River, clinging to the ice edge as he yelled for rescue. And as CTV's Harrison Shin shows you, this story comes with a reminder to stay safe while on the ice.
Barry Richardson and his family were watching television at their family home in Lac du Bonny on New Year's Eve. That is until he heard a commotion outside.
There was a spotlight shining down on the ice, which is right behind me. And I knew that There's only one reason that a helicopter is going to be flying here at night, shining on the ice. Somebody's in trouble.
Richardson shared this video with CTV News showing the helicopter flying in circles on the Winnipeg River. Lac du Bonny Fire Department says at 8:30 p.m. on that day, 2 rescuers pulled a 32-year-old male snowmobile driver out of the freezing water.
Bystanders observed him drive his machine into the open water, and at first they couldn't see him, and then later on they reported to 911 that he was clinging to the ice at the edge of the open water. This is one of the suits that the rescuers used on the weekend. This is a dry suit.
Fire Chief Earl Simmons says the victim was hypothermic, so the first responders took his clothes off and wrapped him in a warm blanket. He says the helicopter was actually a Stars Air ambulance waiting at the scene in case the rescued man had to be transferred quickly.
EMS crew took him by ambulance, so obviously they felt he was stable enough just to go by ground ambulance to a healthcare facility.
He's asking people to be cautious and stick to maintained trails.
We jump and respond as quickly as we can, but if we can avoid this from happening in the first place, we'll really appreciate that.
Harrison Shin, CTV News, Lac du Bonny.
A man is facing charges following a frightening robbery at a fast food restaurant near CF Pula Park. Police say it happened yesterday afternoon when a suspect allegedly demanded money and threatened to shoot the employees at this A&W near St. James Street. Police say he then went behind the counter and, after being unable to open the cash register, stole burgers and fries that were still cooking. The employees retreated to safety and no one was hurt. Officers caught up with him not long after, finding him on a transit bus eating the food. A 29-year-old man is charged with robbery and possession of property obtained by crime. If you're looking for another reason to dig out your skates, you can take them for a spin at the Assiniboine Park Duck Pond. The Assiniboine Park Conservancy says the Duck Pond shelter is now open daily from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. It has access to washrooms and a place to warm up and rest. Visitors are reminded that hockey sticks and pucks are not permitted, and guests must stay off the ice during maintenance. And it didn't take long for people to lace up for the Nestawaya River Trail's grand opening.
The best thing about the Nestawaya River Trail is the fact that it's a completely new way to look at the city. You know, we kind of, or myself personally, shy away from winter, and this is a way to get out and embrace it, and you get to see a city from a whole new angle.
Yesterday, about 50 people showed up to the River Trail at the Forks as it opened for the season. For now, only one section of the annual River Trail is open, but more are expected to open on the Red and Assiniboine rivers as weather allows. You can check which section is open by viewing their website, theforks.com. And speaking of weather, CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady is joining us now with a first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. So will it be okay weather-wise to hit the River Trail this weekend?
Well, dig out your skates, but dig out your shovels too. I know you've already had them out because we've had quite a bit of snow come through. And we were talking about this, Taylor, earlier this week. You know, it was so 2025 back when we talked about this a few days ago. But the atmospheric setup over the prairies continues into 2026. So we've got this diagonal line of snow, or rounds of snow, traveling along it from northern Alberta through Saskatchewan and now into southwestern Manitoba. That snow is heading into Winnipeg in the southeast, and eventually it will make its way into northwestern Ontario. The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. In Winnipeg right now, it is partly cloudy and minus 13 degrees with the wind chill. It feels like minus 22. Winds out of the west at 21 kilometers an hour. The pressure is rising, and the humidity right now, Taylor, is 62%.
Thanks, Colleen. You're now legally required to give more space when passing snowplows and cyclists. The province says amendments to the Highway Traffic Act took effect January 1st. So when a plow has its blue lights activated, you now need to stay back 30 meters when the speed limit is 80 kilometers an hour or less. When the speed limit is above 80, you need to stay back 100 meters. You're also prohibited from passing if the view is obstructed or if passing could interfere with their work. You also need to give at least 1 meter of space when passing cyclists. A number of changes to how you get around the city are under consideration over at City Hall. It's now looking to roll out leading pedestrian intervals at signalized crosswalks across the city. The system lets pedestrians get a head start crossing the street before the lights turn green for vehicles. They were implemented throughout the downtown early in 2025, and the Public Service says it resulted in fewer near misses between pedestrians and vehicles and no noticeable change to traffic congestion. The Public Service would still need to do a study to find out which crossings outside of downtown would benefit the most from the new system. The city is looking to add 27 40-foot battery and fuel cell battery buses to its fleet for a cost of $51 million. The Public Service says there's already room in the budget for 25 of the new buses, and if some other projects have leftover money, it could add 2 more. The buses would be coming from New Flyer Industries, which has already delivered several of the buses in previous years as the city slowly transitions its fleet to zero-emission buses. And Councillor Russ Wyatt has put forward a motion to reroute the FX3 bus line, which has been causing headaches for some folks in Transcona. Wyatt's motion is asking for the route to be sent down Day Street and Kildare Avenue East instead of Victoria Avenue East, where people have complained about buses rattling their houses and cracks forming in their foundations. Wyatt is also asking the Public Service to report back on possible safety improvements for Victoria Avenue in 2 months rather than 8. All 3 of those motions will be considered at next week's Public Works Committee meeting. 2 more members of the Winnipeg Jets are heading to the Olympics.
Brindley, Olafson, shot, good stop by Hellebuck, loose in front, he spun around, no whistle yet.
Netminder Connor Hellebuck and forward Kyle Connor have been named to the U.S. men's hockey team for the Milano Cortina Olympics next month. Other Jets competing at the Olympics this year include Josh Morrissey for Team Canada and Nino Niederreiter, who will represent Switzerland. Men's hockey at the Olympics runs February 11th to 22nd. While bald eagles may not be a rare sight in Manitoba, it's not often that you see several dozen at once, but that's exactly what one father and son saw while driving near Niverville on New Year's Eve.
Down the highway, I spotted some eagles there, and we turned around, and I told Logan, I said, Dad, he's got to stop and take some video of this. And we stopped there for about 2-3 minutes and watched them soar around and look at the clouds, and the birds are flying.
Greg Penner was driving to Winnipeg with his son Logan when he stopped and caught this video. He says they spotted 55 bald eagles perched in several trees.
Now seeing these birds all over Manitoba, and in southern Manitoba especially, right, is quite the adventure to see and catch on the side of the highway.
The duo saw the birds of prey 3 kilometers south of Highway 311 and the 59 intersection. It's January 2nd, and Canada's top CEOs have already earned what the average worker makes in a year.
It's crazy that there's like billionaires and millionaires while people can't even afford to eat.
How much the wage gap widened in recent years and who topped the list for compensation in our country in 2025. That's next. Taking a look at the markets now, crude oil dropped 10 cents. The Canadian dollar dipped slightly. Gold fell $11. The TSX added 170 points. And the Dow Jones rose 319 points, with the Nasdaq losing 6 points. We're getting a new glimpse of how much money Canada's highest paid CEOs are making. It was a record year for the top 100, and it also highlights the growing income gap between executives and the average worker. CTV's Camille Koramali is following the story from Toronto.
Here at Canada's busiest mall, new items stocked for the new year, but affording them.
Are you able to afford shopping?
No.
Is a different story.
The cost of living, yeah, it's become really hard.
Especially for the many here making minimum wage.
I feel bad because I can't buy expensive things for like my friends and family.
Elizabeth and Jillian work as servers. The holidays may have left them high in spirit, but low on cash.
It's crazy that there's like billionaires and millionaires while people can't even afford to eat.
Now a new report shows Canada's top CEOs making the first day and a half of the new year what the average worker makes in an entire year.
Yeah, CEOs have always been paid more than the average worker, but it's the gap that has really grown substantially.
The average Canadian worker made just over $65,000 in 2024. Compare that to the average pay for Canada's top 100 CEOs at more than $16 million, which is a new record. That's 248 times the salary of the average Canadian. And that pay gap has been climbing for years. CEOs were paid 50 times more than the average Canadian worker in the 1980s. That increased to about 100 times in the 90s and to 150 in the 2000s, now hitting a new high.
When companies do well, the CEO sees huge expansion in their bonuses, and companies have been doing very well since the pandemic.
The head of Shopify topping the list with a new record at over $200 million, more than doubling the second highest paid CEO in Canada.
It's easier for CEOs to raise their own pay and not affect the profitability of the company than it is to raise worker pay, which has a much bigger impact on the profitability.
The report suggests implementing a millionaire's or wealth tax. The report also confirming what many have already reported, the costs of goods and services in Canada, like groceries, increasing at a much faster rate than workers' wages. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Alberta separatists have until May to collect signatures for their proposed referendum question. The question asks if Alberta should leave Canada and become an independent state. Despite a Calgary judge deeming the question unconstitutional, it's allowed to go ahead because of changes United Conservative Party made to the legislation. Elections Alberta says canvassers have until May 2nd to get over 177,000 signatures from eligible voters. You now need to provide proof of identity before signing the petition. It's the sixth day of protests across Iran over the country's economic crisis. Several people have reportedly been killed during the demonstrations. Perry Russum reports.
Amid reports of the mass protests in Iran turning deadly, President Trump now warning if Iran shoots and violently kills peaceful protesters, which is their custom, the United States will come to the rescue, locked and loaded and ready to go. A top Iranian security official warns American interference would lead to the destruction of American interests. Video circulating online shows the countrywide protests now ongoing for nearly a week. In this video, demonstrators marching, taking up an entire street. What started as protests against Iran's economic crisis, caused in part by sanctions imposed by the U.S. and UN, has expanded into some protesters chanting, "Death to the dictator." Iran's president says their government is at fault for the economic crisis, telling Iranian officials not to blame the U.S. President Trump earlier this week asked if he would support overthrowing Iran's government.
I'm not going to talk about overthrow of a regime. They've got a lot of problems that are in. They have tremendous inflation. Their economy is bust. Their economy is no good. And I know that people aren't so happy.
This week, President Trump has been more vocal against Iran, threatening to, quote, knock them down if they try to rearm. Over the summer, the U.S. attacked 3 nuclear facilities in Iran. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
The Prime Minister will be in France early next week to join talks with Ukraine's European allies. Mark Carney will be in Paris Monday and Tuesday for a gathering of the so-called Coalition of the Willing. The group is looking to advance a peace deal. The Prime Minister's office says Carney's focus remains on fortifying Ukraine, supporting its long-term recovery, and deterring future Russian aggression. Meantime, the Canadian government is condemning Chinese military drills off of Taiwan. Beijing conducted 2 days of exercises this week. Global Affairs says Canada opposes any unilateral attempts to change the status quo across the Taiwan Strait and insists the waterway is indispensable to the security and prosperity of the international community. The FBI says it thwarted an alleged plan by a man in North Carolina to carry out an attack with knives and hammers on New Year's Eve.
He started reading ISIS material, started going to ISIS websites, making TikTok videos, and eventually reached out to what he thought was a member of ISIS. In reality, was an undercover agent with NYPD in New York. He pledged his allegiance to ISIS with that undercover agent, and he disclosed his plans to, quote, do jihad soon. He then met a second undercover with the FBI, who he also thought was an ISIS participant, and he started to be very specific with his plans.
The suspect was charged with attempting to provide material support to a foreign terrorist organization. FBI agents searching his home allegedly found a handwritten document called New Year's Attack 2026, which they say discussed plans to stab up to 20 victims and attack responding officers. Investigators are going through footage taken after a deadly fire started in Switzerland on New Year's Day. At least 40 people are dead and 115 injured. Others are still unaccounted for. Olivia Rubin reports.
Today, investigators saying they believe sparklers likely started that tragic fire inside a Swiss bar during a New Year's Eve celebration. Videos showing the inferno starting inside, the ceiling bursting into flames in the crowded bar. You can hear people screaming as they try to escape. Victoria was one of the lucky ones able to escape the bar. She says just before the flames erupted, she saw giant sparklers being carried out alongside bottles of champagne.
So there was a server that was on the shoulders of another one. And so she was holding the champagne way too high, and so it went on the ceiling.
Multiple witnesses mentioning those sparklers, similar to the ones seen here in a promotional video previously posted by the bar. Mourners now gathering at the Crans Montana Resort in the Swiss Alps to pay their respects and lay flowers at the site.
And just like, I can't believe that all this happened. It's very terrifying. It's shocking. Like, I don't know how to feel. My heart is broken, literally.
And this tragedy being felt beyond Switzerland, the victims coming from a number of different countries. So far, no Americans are known to have been among those killed or injured. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, New York.
A strong earthquake rattled southern and central Mexico, killing 2 people and sending locals scrambling into the streets. The earthquake had a preliminary magnitude of 6.5. Its epicenter was near the town of San Marcos, near Acapulco, according to Mexico's National Seismological Agency. The state civil defense agency reported various landslides around Acapulco and on several highways in the state. The new year is kicking off with a couple of big celestial events. The first supermoon of 2026 will grace the sky this weekend. The moon is going to be closer than normal, making it appear larger and brighter. But the wolf moon's light will make it tougher to see the other event, a quadranted meteor shower. It's going to reach peak activity Saturday evening, but will be active through January 16th.
It will actually make the industry more transparent.
It won't directly lower grocery prices, so what is the new grocery code of conduct good for, and what are its limitations? We'll explain when we return.
We'll get a break during much of the day on Saturday from the snow that's to come yet tonight, but then more snow is headed our way on Sunday, and forecast amounts are a little higher with this approaching system. Then we get into Monday, Tuesday, higher than what's to come tonight. We're talking it's possible 5 to 10 centimeters across the south on Sunday. To be clear, in Monday and Tuesday, let's talk about those days quickly. Cloudy, -8, -7 degrees. Brightening up, Taylor, Wednesday, Thursday, a mix of sun and cloud with warmer temperatures.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
It's win or go home. Canada plays its first elimination game at the World Junior Hockey Championship in Minneapolis tonight.
Down to Reshny. Back for Perek to Hage. Hage centers it, ripping it. Makes the save, rebound, score!
The Canadians went undefeated in 4 round-robin games to finish atop Group B. In this evening's quarterfinal, they take on Slovakia, who ended up 4th in Group A. Canada will look to avoid the same fate as the last 2 years, losing in the quarters. Puck drop is shortly after 7:30 p.m. As of today, the federal government has implemented a voluntary code of conduct for grocers and their suppliers. The aim is to promote fair trade between partners and reveal hidden costs. CTV's Christine Long has more.
I need a time out.
At the Maxi store in Dorval, shoppers we spoke to say groceries aren't cheap.
I find it's gone up quite a bit, especially the meat.
It's more expensive than it used to be. Everyone knows that.
I have a child, and we're a family of 3, and we're barely holding up.
The new grocery code of conduct promises to shine a light on the reasons why food prices are high, says Sylvain Charlebois.
Suppliers have to pay grocers to do business with them. And so they have to pay listing fees, marketing fees, flyer fee, all sorts of fees, distribution fees. And over the last several years, grocers have been somewhat abusive, really, implementing fees overnight.
Charlebois says with clarity on costs, prices could start to even out later in 2026 as a result.
So food inflation right now at 4.7%, in my view, is much too high. So we are expecting that rate to drop over time to around 2.5%.
He says Australia and the United Kingdom have this kind of code, and it's overdue in Canada.
I do believe that the code, because it is an open bureau, it will actually make the industry more transparent. So if there are bad apples out there, companies that are abusing will probably going to know through the bureau, because they actually have to submit reports, they have to publish reports on what's actually is going on here.
Yet this code of conduct is voluntary for grocers, suppliers, and producers, which doesn't seem to boost these customers' confidence.
I don't think so, honestly, because the government have been saying that they're going to help the citizens a lot, and they're not really doing much, honestly.
Obviously, if anyone could bring prices down, that would be super popular, but that's not how economics works.
I hope so. It would be nice, really. A little bit of competition, too, doesn't hurt.
It seems like shoppers need to see it to believe it at the cash register. Christine Long, CTV News.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Now, CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady has your complete Skywatch weather forecast. Colleen, what are you seeing?
A little bit of light snow falling in southwestern Manitoba, and that snow is going to be spreading east. Here's a look at it. I'll zoom in. I'll show you a little bit more closely. It's focused right now in the southwest, but it's been following a similar track. Just the atmospheric setup over the prairies over the last few days has set up basically this diagonal line, and so we have seen waves of snow just sort of coming out of northern Alberta through places like Saskatchewan, or right through Saskatchewan, through places like Saskatoon, through Regina, and then here into southwestern Manitoba. And then as we move through the next couple of hours or so, we'll start to see that snow move further east into Winnipeg and the Red River Valley, and then it will make its way overnight into northwestern Ontario, where it's getting colder. The wind chill is now stronger in Kenora than it was last hour. It now feels like minus 26 there. Over the border back into Manitoba, it feels in the minus 20s here in the south, a little bit colder around Dauphin and Swan River. They're up in the north tonight. You can see the wind chill values are quite cold in the minus 30s in most cases, but we were seeing wind chill values in the minus 40s over the last several days. And of course, we had those cold warnings, none in effect tonight as we head into this second night of 2026. And here comes that snow coming along that diagonal track. So snowfall amounts tonight across the south, generally around 2 to 4 centimeters. Same thing once this snow eventually makes its way overnight into northwestern Ontario. Should wrap up tomorrow morning for most areas, including here in Winnipeg, and then we brighten up in behind it. But as the sun comes out tomorrow across the south, the temperatures are going to fall in the afternoon in some areas, including here in Winnipeg. But you can see across much of the province tomorrow and east into northwestern Ontario, sunshine or a mix of sun and cloud for most areas for Saturday. But then I was talking about that break we get for a few hours before this more substantial system comes along, which again, general snowfall amounts forecast at this point anyway are more in the order of 5 to 10 centimeters. That's what I was trying to get at a few minutes ago. A more potent system coming through on Sunday than the one that's on our doorstep tonight. But as the system winds its way across the southern half of the province into Sunday evening, you can see right around the border there's the potential for some freezing rain to develop. For tonight for Winnipeg, that light snow is not too far off now. 2 to 4 centimeters forecast tonight. We drop to -16. Winds at their strongest early this evening out of the west at 20, but most of the night the winds actually will be quite light and variable. They strengthen a little bit tomorrow morning out of the northwest. Light snow is possible. -14 will be the highest temperature of the day, and that comes through in the morning. You see the asterisk. That tells you the temperatures are going to be falling to around -7 in the afternoon under a mix of sun and cloud. Up in the north tonight, a few flurries possible for Churchill, but look out for blowing snow there and some stronger winds tonight. Down to -21, cloudy for Gillam, Island Lake, Thompson. Some light snow is likely, down to -25. Sunny there tomorrow with a high of -22 degrees. Churchill goes to -18 Saturday afternoon under a mix of sun and cloud. In the northwest tonight, a bit of a mixed bag. A few clouds over Lynn Lake, all the way down to -28 degrees there. -23 for Oceana and the Paw, with a little bit of light snow there. Bright and sunny tomorrow around the region, with a high staying in the -20s. Light snow tonight, already falling on the radar there across southwestern Manitoba. Brandon, Neepawa down to -16 degrees. A little cooler, -17 for Dauphin, -19 for Swan River. A little bit of light snow likely to come at least early in the morning around Brandon and Neepawa. Otherwise, a mix of sun and cloud around the region. Highs in the mid-teens. Winnipeg in the southeast, that snow coming through later on this evening. We drop down to around -16 for most areas, including Winnipeg. Some areas will see temperatures fall in the afternoon, including places like Winnipeg and Pinawa, down to -17, -18 under a mix of sun and cloud. Light snow overnight for northwestern Ontario, down to -18, -19. That snow should wrap up for you around midday. Then you'll see some brightening up in your afternoon. Our first weather photo takes us out to Lac du Bonnet. This was the moon over the community at about 7:25 this morning. And speaking of this morning, Al was out on his bombardier on Lake Manitoba. He's a commercial fisher. And yeah, it was a little chilly out there, as you might expect. That photo, again, out on Lake Manitoba. You can send us yours to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. Canada is on track to accept fewer new residents, international students, and temporary workers this year. It's part of the federal government's efforts to reduce levels and prioritize economic immigration. As CTV's Rochelle Aiello reports, that means skilled workers, those who can fill critical labor gaps in high-demand jobs, may have the upper hand.
For many wanting to call Canada home, the latest immigration levels plan has injected uncertainty into the year ahead. For example, the federal government is cutting the number of international students it'll accept this year in half. A reduction this PhD candidate, who came to Canada from Iran in 2021 to do cancer research, says while necessary, has left many prospective students in limbo.
They don't feel welcomed here. They were invited to come here. They were accepted to come here. And now they're just caught in this perfect storm.
Canada will also be accepting fewer temporary workers this year.
They're more focused on labor shortages now.
Overall, the government plans to admit 380,000 permanent residents in 2026, down from the target of 395,000 admissions in 2025.
There's always winners and losers. The winners are going to be the Canadians, particularly the young Canadians looking for that entry-level job that has been occupied by a foreign national. The losers are going to be the foreign nationals who came here with false promises of permanent residence.
While it may be shaping up to be a challenging year for the thousands with temporary status who can't stay, Canada is offering express entry for prospective newcomers who speak French or have skills in key sectors, such as trades, agriculture, engineering, education, and healthcare.
Instead of a broad, open arms approach to immigration, it's more selective now. It's more focused on ensuring that the economy can absorb their permanent residents and the workers coming in.
Linked to the shift towards prioritizing economic immigrants is a plan to spend more than $1 billion on a new international talent attraction strategy to incentivize leading researchers and innovators to come to Canada. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Some of those products may not have gone through proper safety testing.
Not all infant pacifiers are created equal. Still ahead in Medical Watch, what to watch for to make sure the product is safe for your child. It's been more than 20 years since NHL hockey historian Dave Stubbs had a serious heart attack known as the Widowmaker. He credits the fast-thinking ER doctor at Quebec's Lakeshore General Hospital for saving his life. Since then, the two have become close friends. CTV's Denise Roberts has their story.
General Hospital holds a lot of memories for Dave Stubbs. It's a place where he had a brush with death 23 years ago. It's also the place he met a lifelong friend, Dr. Thomas Kaufman.
You will hear people say, well, so-and-so saved my life. And, you know, you can kind of just throw that around cavalierly. But, I mean, Tom Kaufman literally saved my life.
In November 2002, Stubbs was 45 and at the top of his game. He had just returned from covering Montreal's Grey Cup win when the symptoms started.
I'm sweeping the car off. I don't feel very good. I feel short of breath. I go home. I'm lying on the floor in my office, again, trying to catch my breath. I can't. And I begin to perspire. My wife and I know immediately that this is probably what's going on.
Heart attacks had killed 3 of his uncles in their 40s. At the ER, Dr. Kaufman discovered Stubbs' left interior descending artery was blocked, provoking what's called a widowmaker heart attack.
When you block an artery, you block the oxygen to that part of the muscle.
That lack of oxygen can be fatal. So with no time to waste and no facilities to do an angioplasty at the Lakeshore, Dr. Kaufman used a new medication.
We did what we had at that time, which was basically giving clot-busting agent like Drano to open up the blocked artery.
It worked. And days later, Stubbs was transferred to another hospital where surgeons performed an angioplasty and inserted a stent into his heart. Once he healed, Stubbs went back to the Lakeshore to thank Dr. Kaufman and found out they shared a common love of the Montreal Canadiens.
I have a massive appreciation of hockey. I love discussing hockey with him.
Those discussions have turned into a friendship. And through his NHL connections, Stubbs has been able to take him ringside at Habs practices and introduce Kaufman's children to players. Stubbs says it's the least he can do. But Dr. Kaufman says he was just doing his job.
Not all your patients can become your friends, but when they do, then that's something special.
Since his heart attack, Stubbs still has to stay on top of his health. He works out regularly and sees a cardiologist every 6 months. But there will always be one doctor at Lakeshore who holds a special place in his heart.
To be able to have the bond that I've established with Tom and time that I've been able to spend with him and come through this facility and see the care that other people get, it just absolutely swells my heart.
Denise Roberts, CTV News.
As of next week, drug companies in Canada are allowed to make lower-priced generic versions of the blockbuster drug Ozempic, but experts say patients shouldn't expect for it to be available for at least a few months. As of December 29th, Health Canada received 9 submissions to seek approval to make semaglutide, the active ingredient in Ozempic and Wegovy. Companies contacted by the Canadian press were unable to provide any expected timelines for their products. But one pharmaceutical policy expert from the University of Toronto says generic semaglutide medication is unlikely to be approved until at least late spring or early summer. It's a trend that continues to be popular for the new year. Dry January is a time when people abstain from alcohol, and experts say staying sober, even for a short amount of time, can help you be healthier.
Dry January is a great opportunity to stop drinking or even reduce your drinking for the month.
Experts say abstaining from alcohol, even for 4 weeks, can make a big difference in your health. They say many people experience better sleep, increased energy, weight loss, more physical activity, and improved general well-being.
Get your friends and family on board with doing it with you so that you have that social connection and that social support to get through the month.
Experts say it's helpful to know your go-to non-alcoholic drink so it's easier to order when you go out. And if you have a slip-up, don't let it derail you. Just start again the next day. For many parents, pacifiers are an essential for babies that help their little ones stay calm and sleep better. But have you ever wondered how safe they are? Experts say there are some types on the market you should steer clear of. CTV's Pat Forn explains in Consumer Alert.
Pacifiers are a staple for new parents, soothing babies through tears, sleep, and even doctor visits. They can also help reduce the risk of sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. But how safe are they? Since 2014, the Consumer Product Safety Commission received 178 reports involving pacifiers, including 1 death and cases of choking, biting off pieces, and getting fingers stuck in small holes. Consumer Reports tested 20 pacifiers for choking hazards, harmful chemicals, and durability. Most performed well, but a few raised red flags for risky attachments or confusing labels.
Unsafe pacifiers do make it into the marketplace.
Testers found questionable pacifiers online, from glittery, blinged-out models with rhinestones, which could be a potential safety risk, to second-hand or vintage ones that don't meet safety standards.
That's why it gets tricky when shopping online, especially through third-party sellers. Some of those products may not have gone through proper safety testing.
When shopping on sites like Amazon, Walmart, or Temu that allow third-party sellers, it's recommended to go with trusted brands and to check that listings confirm safety testing. But it's not just an issue online. Researchers found a pacifier at a local store missing the required safety warning. A reminder to be careful whenever you shop for baby products. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
From the original Pluto the Dog to box office classics, another trove of works have now entered the public domain. We'll explain next in Spotlight.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting the incredibly hip and the Stoneheads.
It is a new year, and that means another trove of classic characters, books, movies, and more are now in the public domain.
I have to have love, but when I'm having my love.
Among the most recognizable, the original Betty Boop, whose iconic hoop earrings first took the form of floppy dog ears, and the initial version of Disney's Pluto, who originally went by the name Rover. Literary works include The Little Engine That Could and the first 4 books in the Nancy Drew detective series. And for film, the Academy Award-winning anti-war movie All Quiet on the Western Front, along with the first film to star John Wayne, The Big Trail, are all also now part of the public domain. The Weeknd is sitting atop the music world in a very important category. He was the highest paid musician of 2025. Forbes says Toronto's own superstar earned $298 million over the past 12 months. Coming in second was Taylor Swift with $202 million, and Beyonce, who earned $148 million last year. Meanwhile, there is some great news for fans of the K-pop sensation BTS. Their long-awaited comeback date has officially been confirmed. The group will return with a new album on March 20th, and that will be followed by a world tour. It will be the first album featuring all of the members in 3 years. BTS activities as a group have been on hiatus, while all 7 of them carried out South Korea's mandatory military service. Disney Plus is out with a somewhat tongue-in-cheek preview for the return of The Muppet Show.
Back on the very stage where it all started and then ended and is maybe starting again depending on how tonight goes.
I love those guys. Kermit, Miss Piggy, and many more iconic Jim Henson characters are back for a one-off special event on February 4th. It will also feature appearances from executive producers Sabrina Carpenter and Seth Rogen. As the trailer suggests, it's expected The Muppet Show could set the stage for a broader relaunch of the series 50 years after the original debuted. I sure hope so. Your primetime lineup starts at 7 tonight with Celebrity Wheel of Fortune. Then at 8 and 9, Project Runway Canada. Happy's Place wraps things up at 10. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
Still ahead, the results are in, and 2025's top baby names haven't changed much from years before. Which names are still hanging on to the top spots when we return.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Well, we dropped all the way down to minus 25 degrees overnight around 2 a.m. Highest temperature today was minus 13, which is the normal high for early January for the city. Minus 16 our overnight low tonight. We could see as much as 2 to 4 centimeters of snow come through overnight, tapering off Saturday morning. Mix of sun and cloud tomorrow. Minus 14 before the temperature drops in the afternoon to around minus 17. Snow returns on Sunday and perhaps a bit more than we're going to see tonight. Cloudy Monday, Tuesday, minus 8, minus 7 degrees, and then minus 4, minus 6 by the midweek into Thursday.
Thanks, Colleen. While Manitobans were celebrating the start of the new year, some local families were celebrating for an entirely different reason. Say hello to Aviello Carmen, the first baby born in Winnipeg in 2026 at just 2 minutes past midnight. The Winnipeg Regional Health Authority made the announcement on social media, wishing congratulations to parents Aileen and John. And over in Westman, a hearty congratulations to Kendra and Aaron, who welcomed in Brandon's first baby, Brielle, at 1:16 a.m. And speaking of babies, the province has revealed the top baby names of the past year. As of December 23rd, Olivia topped the list of girls' names once again. That was followed by Emma and Sophia, which were also in the top 3 the year before. Charlotte and Ava round out the top 5. Not far behind were Ellie, Violet, Lily, Ella, and Amelia. Now onto the boys' side. Noah was once again the most popular name, followed by Oliver and Liam. Oliver replaced Theodore in the top 3, but it's not far behind at number 4. And Levi takes that 5th spot, unchanged from 2024. Those were followed by Jack, Elijah, William, Lucas, and Ethan. Some very classic names.
Not a lot of changes in those top 10s over the last few years, particularly on the female side, I believe.
I mean, a name's a good one. It's a good one.
Well, lovely names. Yeah. Just, you know, it's a stretch of time. Certain names are very popular.
You can find that on a keychain. Try finding Taylor. That's not fun.
Well, in the age of the Swifties, I would think that might be a little easier, you know?
A friendship bracelet.
There you go.
Well, you can watch CTV News anytime on our website and join us back here at 11:30. Good night.